It's official. You have been tasked with starting to actively look for our core education champion. You've been selected to help us find the very best education champions who will help us realize our purpose of ensuring that no child's circumstance limits their potential. As a recruiter, you are essential in shaping the future of our organization by finding individuals who align with our values and purpose. Your role is not just about filling positions, but also about building relationships and creating meaningful candidate experiences. Recruitment is not a one-time interaction. It's an ongoing process. From the moment a candidate becomes aware of practice to the day they complete their onboarding, we maintain continuous, meaningful engagement. You will learn to keep candidates engaged and informed throughout their journey by leveraging our applicant tracking system and our recruitment tools. We utilize 5 primary recruitment channels to find education champions: job boards, referrals, colleges and universities, established groups and organizations, and online communities and forums. I'm going to start where we currently get most of our education champions. At this moment in our journey, most of our education champions actually find us. That's right, we're not finding them, they're finding us. That happens through job boards, websites like Indeed, Handshake, LinkedIn, and countless others. This requires the least amount of effort up front, but it's the most challenging on the back end. That's because job sites only require us to post a job description with some job details, and we sit back and wait as the applications roll in. The reason why I say this is the most challenging on the back end is because these job sites have made it just as easy for people to apply for a job as it is to post one. That's right. They click a button or a few buttons and they've applied. As you can imagine, a lot of people who are looking for jobs are treating it like a numbers game. The more jobs they apply to, the higher the likelihood they get a job. In our experience, we found that a lot of the people who apply through job boards don't fully read or understand the job they just applied for. Here's what makes it challenging. There are a lot of people who did read the job description and intentionally applied for the job too. When we receive a job application, we have no idea which is which until we start reviewing the information. From there, it's pretty easy to weed out some applications just based on some simple requirements, but it takes a lot more time because of the volume of applications. And of course, folks who are applying for a job likely want or need one ASAP. As you can imagine, it makes vetting through this channel of recruitment a bit more timely. Speed is key during the recruitment process, but especially when handling job board applicants. We aim to review applications within 24 hours and communicate with candidates immediately to maintain engagement and prevent drop-offs. This proactive approach ensures a higher quality experience for candidates and prevents them from feeling overlooked. The next recruitment channel I'd like to talk about is referrals. In the recruiting world, a referral refers to a candidate who is recommended for a job by someone within or connected to the organization. This group is the easiest to vet, but the hardest to get in large quantities. That's because getting referrals requires persistence and creativity. In the past, we've tried all sorts of things like competitions, prizes, begging, playing to people's emotions, and money. That's right, cold, hard cash. What we found is that different people respond to different things. And asking education champions in the past why they don't refer more people to the job, one of them told us it's because they don't think their friends can meet our standards. Harsh, right? We had to unpack that with the education champion and let them know that making the referral doesn't mean the person automatically gets the job. And if we hire them, then it's on us if they don't succeed, not on them. In my experience, the most effective way to get education champions to make referrals is to give them a link, ask them, and then follow up. The more specific we could be, like asking for one person by next Friday. And the less we ask them to do, like just provide us with their email and cell number and we'll reach out letting them know you referred them, the more likely it is to happen. As you can see, it requires a bit more work and more persistence than simply waiting on a job board. But the quality of the job applicants are much higher. And in this case, we're being active in our approach. Clear communication to existing peeps about the referral process is key to increasing referral participation. The next recruitment channel I'm going to talk about is colleges and universities. Depending on how much elbow grease you're willing to put into this channel, it can have really high returns on time. On the low lift side, you can probably find the emails of all the professors and student clubs and send them a generic blast with our job opportunities. Usually, a few professors and a few student clubs will acknowledge the message and forward it along to their students. This is absolutely helpful, but it still means you're getting any college student who might just be looking for a job. It's better than the job boards, but with more time, we can do better. An approach that goes much further is doing some upfront research, looking for professors who are teaching courses in education, psychology, social work, and related topics, including at the graduate school level, finding student clubs that show a care for children, education, and mentoring. For example, a Students for Education Reform group or a Big Brothers and Big Sisters club, identifying career services personnel, even people in the financial aid office who are responsible for helping students get jobs, and finding departments that provide supplemental resources and supports for first-generation college students, low-income college students, and even underrepresented minorities. You can send them a blast, or be even more intentional and offer to host an information session. Speak to their group or class sections in person or virtually, or just request the time to connect with them and introduce yourself. Hosting virtual events like webinars or info sessions can create more engagement and lead to better qualified candidates. While this sounds like a lot more upfront work, and it is, this approach will yield more education champions on the back end. That's because the people you connect with will take the time to learn who it is we're looking for. That urban Title I public school graduate committed to scholar success, has pursued college education, and is looking for a part-time job with a purpose. As a result, they will naturally filter out people who do not fit this profile. So these candidates will understand our purpose and be more aligned with the role requirements, saving us time and helping us get the right peeps to advance our purpose to ensure no child's circumstance limits their potential. Again, it's important to focus on building relationships with specific departments and student clubs that align with our education champion profile. There are two more channels I want to talk about. The next one is established groups and organizations. This one requires a bit more creativity, but what we're looking for are groups and organizations that already have an established membership or audience that fits the profile of our core education champion. Let me give you some examples to illustrate what I mean. There could be a retired educators or teachers association, a local volunteer society, a national honor society, a local nonprofit organization, the local library, or even a fellowship program. Sending a generic blast won't work here. We need to do more research on the group, and in our initial outreach, make the connection for them on why we reached out to them. We need to show the alignment between our work, their members, and the opportunity we want to share. They're going to be sensitive to sharing things with their members, especially if their members are highly engaged. Nonetheless, if they're aligned, it will be time well spent. This channel can become one that you go to again and again. This group wants to feel like a partner, and the more feedback we can share about who engaged, signed up, and was eventually hired, and the impact they made with our organization, the more likely they'll want to meaningfully collaborate and help us build lasting partnerships. With this channel, focus on quality over quantity. Make it a priority to go deeper with fewer organizations that can be recurring sources of aligned talent. All right. The last channel is online communities and forums. Think Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups. Yes, LinkedIn groups. And people are still online. And yes, they're using groups and forums. Joining and becoming an active member of online discussion groups and forums can give us exponential reach. They're also really cost effective because they usually have no cost beyond our time. Like the job boards, we have to be careful which groups we join so we don't just get people who aren't aligned with what we're doing to apply. For online groups to be really effective, we need to engage in discussions within these communities authentically, offering valuable insights rather than simply promoting job postings. When we provide something of value, people will look up our profile, and that will likely lead them to our job opportunities. We'll be viewed as a genuine resource. Avoid overpromotion to maintain our credibility and avoid the prospect of getting kicked out. But of course, we have to promote our opportunities. So I just say avoid over promoting. Once we found our core education champions, it's important that we are clear about the job and that we share as much information as possible. For example, this is a part-time job. We often find that people who are looking for a full-time job will be disappointed if they sign up to become education champions, since we rarely have work that can give them full-time hours. We have competitive pay, and there's a bonus of up to 10% for completing their programs. But not completing their programs should be an exception, not the norm. We work in low-income schools, and our scholars are depending on their education champions to be there for them consistently. We don't pay for school holidays, and schools do have dates where they don't want programming. For example, the break between mid-December to New Year's is pretty long. If the education champion doesn't save, budget well, or have a backup plan for supplemental income during the holidays, they could wind up quitting and letting down their scholars. At the same time, we have education champions who plan ahead, will get a babysitting job, or work in retail during the holiday sprint and be back and ready to go at the top of the new year. It's important that we share as much as possible so that they can make an informed decision. All right, I've shared the 5 channels that we most commonly use today. The recruiting landscape is constantly changing, and new channels could exist in the future, or already existing ones could become obsolete. So stay on top of the trends. Before I close out, I want to share 7 tips on how to handle potential education champions that we source. 1, provide clear and transparent communication. Transparency is crucial. Set realistic expectations up front. This is a part-time position and there may be gaps in hours during school holidays. Ensure candidates understand the role completely before they commit. Be honest about challenges and explain how successful education champions prepare for these periods by planning ahead or supplementing their income with short-term work. 2, speed matters during the application review and screening phase. Review applications as soon as possible and reach out quickly to keep candidates engaged. Even if a candidate isn't a perfect fit, a quick response creates a positive impression and could lead to future referrals. Candidates should not stay in the applied phase without feedback for longer than 24 hours. Move them swiftly from application to interview if they're a potential fit. 3, the interview process is not just about vetting, it's about building a relationship. Candidates buy from people, so be personable, engaging, and informative. Focus on aligning the candidate's future goals with the experience they will gain as an education champion. This will not only help with the recruitment, but also with retention. 4, don't delay between the interview, reference check, and offer letter. If a candidate is a fit, we receive positive feedback during the reference check phase, and work quickly to extend an offer and start welcoming the education champion to our community. Speed will prevent candidates from pursuing other opportunities and disengaging. 5, familiarize yourself with our current tools and applicant tracking system, or ATS. Our tools will help you review applications, quickly build up your pipeline, and track your communication. 6, lead with our purpose and continue to reiterate our values. Every interaction is an opportunity to positively display our brand, from posting the job through extending the job offer. By reinforcing our dedication to serving low-income scholars, we attract individuals who are genuinely passionate about education and aligned with our core values. And 7, build relationships. When we're recruiting, it's important to remember that people buy from people. Make a connection, find out what they're interested in, and look for ways to help them align their future goals with the experience available on our team. Now, go out there and recruit some exceptional education champions who will help us ensure that no child's circumstance limits their potential.